Good evening, everybody. How are you doing tonight? Is that better? Very good. I think on your table you see our annual report. We'd like to share that with you on this evening. Gail and team did a great job. Thank you, Gail. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to our soon-to-be ex-board chair, Mr. Trubaugh. Well, you got to make it through tonight. You're not quite ex yet, till the meeting's over.
I didn't know I was doing anything. I know nothing. Absolutely nothing.
He did get the email.
They don't have email.
I definitely wasn't on the email list. I came for the sushi. Nice spring day in Franconia. I'm sure Warren hasn't shown me his prepared remarks, but I'm sure he's going to talk about the affiliation agreement, or say a few words about that before the night's over. And as part of the whole affiliation of the hospitals, we're restructuring the board, so Littleton will continue to have a board, as will each of the other organizations in the affiliation. And then there will be what's referred to as the parent board, and actually we have the first meeting of the parent board tomorrow evening, having now been approved, and we can start to move forward. And so each of the organizations got so many seats on the parent board for the first 3 years. We got 7 of 16, and so some of us came off of the Littleton board and we're moving to the parent board. In the Brownies, they refer to this as flying up. I'm not sure it's exactly the same. I think it remains to be seen whether we're flying up or flying down. But 3 of us are moving. I'm moving. Jim Hamlin is going with us, and Jay Knoll. So Jim and Jay and I, this is our final Littleton Regional Healthcare meeting. Well, John is going to serve on both, and Bill Bedore is going to serve on both. And Dr. Duffy and Dr. Wilson will also be on the parent board. So we'll have those 7 seats to get started. So thank you for your service on the Littleton board, and welcome to the new parent board. And I think I've done what I was supposed to do.
Great job.
That's the son.
First of all, thank you, Steve, for your years here. The Charitable Foundation has been established since 2003 as the fundraising arm of the hospital. And this year we raised $325,705. That came from 485 donors. And if you look in your program for tonight, you'll see the list of them all. They're all in very fine print. There were so many. That was very nice year for donors. We had 50 memorial gifts, which included those that are living and those that have passed. We had one major plan this year was the capital campaign for the OB suite. We've gone from 210 deliveries in 2004 to this year we did 357 deliveries. Not quite one a year because we sent a couple down to Dartmouth to deliver who were premature. Could have made one a day otherwise. But the major renovations are in progress now. We announced it at last year's board meeting, and we've done very well. We've exceeded our initial goal, and we're going forward to help raise the $500,000 if we can. There were 60 businesses that contributed to the hospital in-kind gifts. These included some of the gifts that we use at the major events, including we used for fundraising, the raffles, the auctions. This year, the golf tournament was held, and we raised the most money we've ever raised, $32,000 for the golf tournament. This year, if you got your little black books or your cell phones, depending on whether you're old age or new age, the date is August 26th. Speaking of events, there's also a Women's Health Conference, which is sponsored by the hospital on May 9th, and also the LRH Wellness Fair. I don't have the dates for that. This year, one of the business owners, Kristen Weir, who owns Fresh Salon and Day Spa, does hair extensions, pink hair extensions for breast cancer, and she raised $6,000 for the hospital. It's a very nice gift. We had grants from 4 different foundations: the Cogswell Benevolent Fund, the Agnes Lindsay Fund, the Emma M. Kelly Charitable Trust, and the Rook Foundation with Mr. and Mrs. Robert C. Rook. We have the endowment funds. Passing this year was Paul McGoldrick, and included in his will and an insurance policy was $152,000, which was donated to the hospital. This will support the LRH Oncology Services. Paul served as our trustee to the hospital. He was also the board chairman of the hospital for a while. He was chairman of one of the fundraising campaigns. He's been a board member of the charitable foundation, and he also has been an advisor to the prospective donors in the area who wanted to find places to donate their funds. We've had gifts of all kinds for the charitable and uncompensated care. Jeff Schilling of the Schilling Brewery hosted a fundraiser to raise funds for the less fortunate. The Fraternal Order of Eagles and the Lions Club both raised funds for diabetic education. The Family Support Programs was sponsored by the LRH Auxiliary. I think that will come up later. Anna Connor's Patient and Family Resource Center, otherwise known as the Gale Medical Library. The Connors family has continued to annually support funds to support the access to up-to-date health information. Nursing and clinical scholarships, Gail Clark, in honor of her mother, Dorothy Boubert, provides funds for the nursing staff to work to advance their health care careers. And the Century Fund, which we established in 2000 for the turn of the century, continues to be an endowment fund where we use the interest from the funds to support the practices of the hospital. These are designated by the board when we think something is worthwhile. We can take money from that fund, and it continues to be a fund to which you can contribute. I'd encourage a lot of you to consider a donation, and I'd like to thank Gail Clark for her help with fundraising this year, stepping up to the fundraising project, and also Courtney for her help. And if you have any questions or want to donate, you can either look on the website, the LRH website, or you can contact Gail. And finally, thank you to the charitable board and also to the LRH board members for your assistance in fundraising. Less than 5 minutes.
Cindy?
Hi, I'm Cindy Mitchell, and I'm the president of the Hospitals Auxiliary. This year has been really exciting for the Lisbon Regional Healthcare Auxiliary. We've had new fundraisers, new membership events, and new projects to support. To be able to accomplish all this, we have an incredible group of auxilians. As always, our biggest fundraiser continues to be our Moose Ledge gift shop and Mini Moose kiosk. It continues to do well with outstanding management and sales staff. Last February, we had our first Dining for a Cause at 99 Restaurant, turning a cold, bleak night into a warm community event. 2 weeks from tonight, it's Mardi Gras. We will be repeating the event, and vouchers to participate are on all of the desks in our hospital entryway, so come join us. In March, we helped celebrate Doctors' Day by serving breakfast for our LRH doctors in the cafeteria. We had a new membership luncheon in April, and Mary Sturdivant presented complimentary therapies for health and healing. In May, the LRHA continues to be a major supporter of the Women's Health Conference, which will soon celebrate 25 years. Last year, over 350 participants attended. The same week, we treat the employees to ice cream sundaes and toppings. A second group makes sure that the night shift gets their treats also. May also continues with our Garden of Memories event This is a life celebration event that also provides funding for our family support team. This June was very busy. We had our third scholarship presentation and reception, and presented $17,500 to high school students and employees continuing in healthcare field. Our other new fundraiser was an evening with North Shore a cappella at the Opera House. A great time was had by all who attended, and we have started plans already to repeat this event in September, so come join us. June also brings our tea and garden party, elegant silver, sparkling china, and a beautiful garden of flowers, and all kinds of delicious food with friends. We took July off, but started the end of August with mulligan sales at the Dr. Moose Golf Tournament. September continues with our annual meeting luncheon at the Monroe home. Dr. Sauter and Warren West joined us this year for the event, and we presented Dr. Sauter with a check for $5,000 for the future Sauter birthing suite, and Warren with a check for $1,000 for LRH. As our hospital grows, so do the needs for our health. As the birthing suite accommodates an increase in new births, we in turn need to increase our Reach Out and Read program and diaper bags for parents. As our emergency department expands its numbers, we also need to increase clothing for our trauma and urology patients. As patients from the community continue to utilize our facilities, so increases the need of the caravan. All of these are projects supported by the auxiliary. So when you see flyers for Books Are Fun, Bag Alley, board and bowl sales, or when you're called to bake cookies for our ever-famous cookie sale, please remember all these projects that reap the benefits of our hard work. And now, Gail, if I could give you, I have our $10,000 for the caravan project.
I have a little cold, so I'm going to have this water here just in case. Can everybody hear me okay now? Good. I've got a little scratchy throat, so I'll apologize for that in advance. Thank you, John and Cindy. The foundation and the auxiliary do a great job in supporting LRH and all of our programs. We couldn't do it without them. We really appreciate everything that they do for the hospital as a whole. And as they both said, it's been a great year at LRH. I feel a little bit like a broken record coming up here again this year and saying that, because in fact I think I've said it each of the couple of years that I've done this and that I've been here. This will be my last year as treasurer. Roger Zhang will be taking over for me, so you'll get a little bit of fresh blood and maybe a fresh perspective next year when we get here, and I'll be giving the chairman's report. So for better or worse, that's the deal. It's great to see a lot of friends here, a lot of the same faces that we see every year. Appreciate you all coming tonight. Warren's going to have some really interesting stuff to discuss just a little bit later, and of course Jurgen is going to have amazing food, and we know that that's probably why most of us are here about 90% of the way. So, I think what I would like to make a point of tonight is that even though things are going really great at LRH, and we have a ton of things to be proud of, it's a very challenging environment. Healthcare, as you read and hear, is extremely challenging in the U.S. these days, and it certainly has not been something that LRH has been able to avoid. In fact, Steve mentioned the effort that we've all put in to put together the affiliation, and really primarily Warren and Steve have done an amazing job in getting that affiliation of the 4 North Country hospitals together. It's truly a groundbreaking exercise, and when we go to, which we do off and on, to different nationwide meetings, we find out that in fact that what we're doing here is truly groundbreaking, and the reality is that this is not being done in other places. So I really thank Warren and Steve for their great leadership in this area, and I want to thank Steve especially for his mentorship and doing a great job over the last couple of years. I was actually supposed to step up a little earlier and be chairman, and he was nice enough to help me out with my schedule and stay around. And I think he was really the right guy to lead us through that challenging time in putting the affiliation together. So, Steve, thank you very much. We really appreciate it. So, those of you who know me are probably going to doubt this statement, but I am going to make this very quick this year. The last couple of years, I've done a lot of education. I've wanted to try and help everybody really understand how the complicated financials of the hospital work. Not doing that tonight. We're going to zip through everything quickly. Numbers are on the board. I'm not going to read from the slides. You can read yourself. You've already read all of those numbers at this point. Just to point out one thing. So we do continue to be very successful, but last year was a particularly difficult year for various different reasons. And so most of these numbers that you'll see tonight are up and up significantly. One number that isn't up, in fact, is the total assets, because last year, for the first time in a long time, we actually lost a little bit of money. And so obviously we are extremely solid from a financial perspective, but that $97,417,000 number is about the only thing that you'll see go down. Total staff is about the same. LRH continues to be the employer of choice and the largest employer in the area. We're very proud of that. Very proud of our staff and our physicians, our nurses. Everybody does a fabulous job here. We're very fortunate to have you all, and many, many of you here in the room. There may be one or two that are less so, but they know who they are. One thing I'd like to point out too here, there isn't another slide for this, is the total community benefit expense at the bottom. I don't know if everybody in back can see that, but it's a little over $5 million. So without getting into the technical description of what that is, that's basically what LRH gives back to the community in services. It's more complicated than that, obviously, but that's the basics of that, and that's actually up about $1.5 million from 2014. So that's really significant. Billing versus net revenue, I've said before, obviously, and everybody who's seen a medical bill and as a patient knows that what you get billed is not what ends up being paid, right? So our billings keep going up, so do our collections, but that's a much, much lower number than what we bill out. It's just a quirk of the system. It doesn't mean anything one way or the other. It just happens to be the way the healthcare system works. Patients served, that's why we're here. Continues to go up. It's really great. I mean, it's really amazing when you think of it to be, in essence, a small rural hospital with all of our different specialties, all the great medical professionals, and we just continue to grow. And again, it's a testament to all the people that do such a great job here. One thing that is a little interesting is, I'm sure you probably all know that the trend in healthcare is for things to be more outpatient instead of inpatient, meaning the work gets done, but they go home basically without staying overnight. Our outpatient actually went down a little this year, which is a little strange. It's just, I think it's just a quirk. I think next year you'll see it going back up. Although the affiliation next year will be interesting to see how all the numbers come together with how everything will be changing. But most of those changes are really administrative in nature, and you all will barely even know that anything is happening. Certainly nothing negative. So keep rolling. This is an interesting stat. I kind of actually, when I saw this, I had to ask Nancy, make sure the number was right, because obviously 127 up to 151. Okay, what's the deal? The reality is we really only had what I'd call 4 full-time new physicians here over the course of the year. But we do use a lot of what we call locums, or temporary physicians, to fill in holes when we have a need for physicians that we can't fill by our full-timers. And so that 151 is everybody with privileges, but a lot of those people with privileges are not docs that you necessarily are going to see here over many, many years. So, but we are fortunate to have 4 new docs this year. Warren, again, has done a great job of recruiting. Somehow we continue to be able to get people to come north and to again, attract specialties that most small hospitals just do not have. So again, we're very fortunate. The second to the last slide for me is it just circles back around to the point that I made right at the beginning, which is we had a tough year last year from a certain perspective. Our operating income was almost down to a break even, just $500,000, and our actual net income after all of the stock market fluctuations, et cetera, was a negative. So it just points out the fact that it's a tough environment. And that's one of the reasons why we chose to affiliate with the other hospitals. We felt that would put us all in a much better position, even though LRH was very strong and continues to be very strong. And I would certainly expect that number to go back up next year as we sit here and Roger tells you about it in for 2016 in January of 2017. So the last slide that I've got here.
My turn, gotta go.
We all recognize this guy. He looks a little younger in the picture. I was going to say no beard, but you shaved it off, and so you sort of ruined that piece of the puzzle for me. As most of you probably know, Warren is going to be stepping up to take over as CEO of the parent company, North Country Health. And we will be replacing him to the extent that he is replaceable here at LRH. We will miss him very much. And he's right, everybody is replaceable, but we will certainly have some more of a celebration just for that occurrence when in fact that transition happens. But this will be the last annual meeting that Warren presides over. And so I just wanted to take a minute to thank him. The hospital has come a long way in the 10 years that he's been here. It was a great hospital before, but we had a lot of challenges, and Warren came in to deal with those challenges and did so very, very well, got us over some pretty significant issues, and the hospital is extremely strong, stronger than it's ever been, more physicians than we've ever had, and the new affiliation is going to make everything in the North Country better, but obviously we would not have voted for it and not be choosing to do it if we didn't think it was going to make things even better right here in the Littleton area. So I was going to tell a little story about Chicago, but I think I'm going to save that for when we have your actual, when we actually we'll do like a roast or something of that sort. But thank you all very much. I appreciate your time.
Well, they set me up to tell you all about the affiliation, didn't they? So we'll talk a little bit about the affiliation. But first, I just want to reflect on this is our 109th consecutive annual meeting. I don't think there's any other business in this region that has run 109 years consecutively like LRH. So we all need to be proud of that and what we stand for and who we serve. And I think that is an absolutely amazing statistic. So when I think about the year, I think it was a lot of great things that happened throughout the year, and I'm going to share those things with you in a moment. But clearly, financials are one of our challenges as we think into the future. But clearly, because of our challenges, because of these challenges, we have tried to position the hospital with the ACO work we're doing and with the parent affiliation work that we have embarked on. And that will help us prepare and get better positioned for these financial challenges that we're seeing. Because I truly believe this is the new reality in healthcare. Healthcare reform is here. It's starting to kick into full gear. And we are clearly every year going to get paid less for the work we do today paid less tomorrow for the work we do today. So that is why we've worked over the last 2 years with great leadership from the board to move forward with those 2 major projects. I think those projects have been outlined dramatically in newspapers, emails. If you really want to read about it, the cover page, the cover story in the annual report will give you a little more detail. So I'm not sure I really want to talk a whole lot about the affiliation. I've been talking a lot about it. Be happy to during our celebration in the conference rooms to talk about it. But what I really want to talk about is sort of a celebration of what the LRH family has accomplished. The first thing I want to do is show you guys a video. That was prepared. No, that's not the video. That was prepared by a team of employees. And this team of employees was called the LRH Standards of Behavior Team. And they put together a video that they wrote and directed, and it was produced by Linden State College. It'll speak for itself. So the employees wanted to put that together. Sorry, I get choked up every time I see that. The employees wanted to put that together to show new employees what we stood for, who we are, and what our culture is all about. And I think they did a great job. The other thing I wanted to share with you guys tonight, I'll speak slowly, Nance. I'm ready. The other thing I want to show you tonight is an overview of what we've been doing for the last couple of years, and it's a celebration of LRH family. Quick through it. Well, we have a rather technical IT department. Here you go.
Taking care of business. EOS icon disconnected.
That's a quick overview of what we accomplished in the last 9 years. Unbelievable where we've been and where we're headed. I appreciate Gail and Courtney and Nancy's work today, despite dealing with IT systems that weren't quite working.
I was hoping Warren would sing when the music stopped.
You were not hoping for that, just for the record. So needless to say, it's been a phenomenal ride. The staff and family at LRH are absolutely awesome, and it's been an unbelievable journey through the growth of this institution. I don't know what else to say other than that. We are extremely fortunate with the staff we have here, with the medical staff we have here, with the leadership we have from the board, and our physicians and our volunteers who all work together to take care of our communities. With that, I do want to recognize two people before I step down, and I'm the only thing between you and some really great food. The first person I want to recognize is our 2016 Citizen of the Year, Dr. Sauter. Sorry, Dr. Sauter, I couldn't resist. Here's a man, 36 years in this community. I don't know, third generation. He's done everything in this organization that he possibly could. Board chair, board emeritus, chair of the surgical committee, chair of the quality committee, chair of the foundation, cheerleader, and all around, if you need to know what's going on, you talk to Dr. Sauter. This institution wouldn't be like it is today without him. And we all need to remember he was the board chair when they took a vote for this new facility. It was 8-5. I can't imagine walking away from that meeting and pulling this building off. And we owe him to thank. So thank you, Dr. Sauter. And lastly, I need to recognize our outgoing board chair, Mr. Truboff. We've worked together for, well, my 9 years. He's been on the board for over 13, I think he tells me. Is that close? And board chair for the last couple of years. He has been a friend, a mentor, a teacher to me, and he's helped our board grow and develop, and he helped us very much get through some very difficult decisions about the affiliation work. He's been there to support me. He's been there to question me. He's been there to kick me when I needed to be kicked. But all in all, it's been a great relationship working with him, and I learned tremendously from him on how to do my job better. So I thank you, Mr. Trubaugh, for your hard work and your friendship. So with that, I want to say thank you to the LRH family and the communities we serve. And as always, I want to say it is an absolute privilege and honor to be in the role I have, to serve all of you who serve our patients. And you guys are awesome. Thank you. So with that, we can move into conference room 1, 2, and 3 and break some bread and enjoy the night. Nice job, ladies.